Welcome back to Bold Faith Moves. Here we empower women to get bold in faith, life, and business. If you've ever felt unworthy or stuck, this is your space to break free, unlock your potential, and build lasting habits for more energy, joy, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Jessie Mershon, speaker, mindset coach, wife, and mama for. And today we are talking about getting out of that average life that you might be living every single day without even realizing it. Life can feel so heavy and overwhelming. And when you have no purpose or no goal attached to what you're going through day to day, it can feel exhausting. And here's what happens. The average American is being trained to go work your 8 to 5 job, to come home, to run kids around, to throw something on the table or grab fast food, to then tune into a TV show that is doing no good for your life, sit in front of the TV way too late, go to sleep late, wake up early, and do it all again. Does that life actually sound fun? Probably not. But now I want you to ask yourself, is that the life that you are currently living? Because it's really easy to be living an average life. What's hard is to decide that you want change, to decide that you want to get bold in your life, and to decide that you want more. And I felt this when Body just removed our position. You know, if you're listening, a few weeks ago, we went through some big changes within the company and basically got laid off. And it was a huge surprise. But in that moment, there were so many different emotions. And I started thinking about, like, what do I want to do next? I'm in a position that I can go do anything. What is it that I really want to do? And I started thinking about all different things and trying different supplements. And no matter where I'm at in my life, will prioritize my sleep, will prioritize my fitness journey, will prioritize my nutrition, will prioritize my family. In a moment of feeling overwhelmed with everything that was going on, I knew 100% that I worked way too hard to come home to my babies. And I am currently in a season of homeschooling and nursing every 3 hours, my little 3-month-old. And I am not about to go work an 8 to 5. I can tell you that. And here is the thing that I want you to understand. If you're in an 8 to 5 right now and you are feeling that burnout and you are feeling that exhaustion, and everybody around you is showing up for that same job, I guarantee they're feeling that way too. But we're trained to live comfortably. We're trained to go to school, to get your degrees, to get your 8 to 5, to be okay with what you're making. Here's what you start at. You might be able to move up a little in the company or move up to a certain thing, but you are trained to just believe that this is the way life is. And it's even in motherhood. When I am following someone, if someone is constantly complaining about motherhood, I unfollow them. And that might seem heartless to you. And I'm sorry that if it does, but I don't judge them. It is okay if they feel like motherhood's really hard. Motherhood is really hard on some days, but I don't want to follow someone that is constantly complaining about the life that they're in, because as hard as motherhood is, it's also the biggest blessing in the world. It's amazing. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I can tell you, having a high schooler right now, I've had some of my hardest parenting moments in the last 3 years that I ever thought I could have. And they were really freaking hard. And I cried a lot and I had self-doubt and all of the things, but I don't want to sit in that every single day. I want to enjoy being a mom. I want to love my kids. I want to be present. And I don't want to just live the average life about complaining about everything. Start thinking about the circles that you're in and what the conversations look like. A lot of times our circles are complaining about their jobs, are complaining about motherhood, are complaining about all of the people around them. And our circles can get so unhealthy and we don't even realize it because we almost are in that circle feeling like this is just normal, right? When I was in a group of friends that was drinking all the time and eating crap food and staying out really late, that was my normal. That was my circle. And so I was just like them. I was the average of the 5 people that I hung around with most. But in order to change your life, you have to decide you're not going to be that average person. You are not going to live the average life. You are not going to struggle and have tons of debt until you die. You are not going to have to worry about calling off because your kids are sick. Like, how ridiculous is it that we live in a world that if your children are sick, you have to call out of work and tell them a reason. And sometimes you can't even get off work, right? It's ridiculous. It is the most ridiculous thing. But I want to encourage you to decide that you no longer want to live like that. Because if you are listening to this podcast today, you are here because you want to get bold. You want to take bold action. And the people around you are not going to be the people that are taking bold action. And I can tell you that 110%. I remember when I was launching my podcast, I told the first person, one of the first people who was extremely close to me, who I love, who I respect, and vice versa. And I hadn't told her about my podcast because I knew that she would think it was weird. And when I finally did decide to have the courage to say it, her reaction was exactly what I thought it would be. But here's what I want you to know. The people around you, when you tell them something, a lot of times aren't doing the thing that you want to do. So they instantly don't get excited for you. They instantly make you feel like it's weird that you want to launch a podcast or you want to build a business or you want to lose 50 pounds so you're not drinking alcohol. I mean, if you have ever told someone that you are not drinking alcohol, the reaction that you get as if you are some freaking weirdo for not having alcohol and how, come on, just have one. You're so boring if you don't have alcohol. Like, no, you can say to yourself, I don't want alcohol, and it could be a thing. Like if someone was a heroin addict and someone asks them to do heroin with them and they say no, no one's going to be like, no, come on, just do it. Don't be lame. You're more fun when you're doing heroin, right? But yet when you do it with alcohol, it is like the most uncomfortable moment for people. And everyone has to make comments. She's being lame. She's not drinking. She's not being fun. But here's the thing. You get to decide who you are becoming, and you get to decide if you are getting bold in your decisions. That means that in order to not live the average life, you have to do different things than the average person is doing. Yes, people might be staying up and binge watching all the TV shows. People might be spending their entire Sunday watching football, eating crap food, and drinking a ton of alcohol and feeling hungover and feeling like crap on Monday. But if that's not what you want, and your goal is to build $1 million business, well, girl, put your head down and get to work. Say no to that football outing because you know where you want to go. And that's okay that you're not going where everyone else is going. When you decide that you want to build a life, you have to also be aware that you are deciding you don't want to live a life like everybody else is living. And then find the people that are living the life you want. Because there are tons of people out there that are successful that want to see you succeed. The people that don't want to see you succeed, the people that are going to think you are weird, are the people that are living the average life, that would never think about not drinking on a Sunday, that would never be able to go to a bar and go have fun with friends without drinking, that want to eat just crap food all the time, right? Like you're the weird parent if you don't want your kid drinking a pop. Like, why is that freaking weird? It shouldn't be. It should not be the world that we live in, that you want better for your kids. But here's what I can tell you from experience is I do want better for me and I want better for my kids. And I recently was having a talk with my high schooler, and I told my high schooler that our goal is not to be like the rest of the world. I understand that the world is different, right? The world is different every single year. It's different. And you get to decide how you're raising your kids in it. And we set screen limit times for my daughter. And does she love it? Heck no, she freaking hates it. But I don't want her sitting on a phone for 10 hours every single day. I get that her friends might be doing that and her friends might be able to be on their phone all night long and it doesn't matter. And trust me, I hear it from her all the time, but I am not here to raise my daughter like the rest of the world. I am here to raise my daughter better than the rest of the world. I am here to be better than the rest of the world. Recently, I heard a statistic and it was mind blowing to me. If you can squat like with a barbell, if you can squat your body weight, you are in the 10% of Americans that can do that. the most fit 10% of Americans. How freaking sad is that? All it is you can squat your body weight. And yet that is what the top 10% of Americans can do as the fittest Americans. That is literally insane. But it's because majority of Americans say, I don't have time, and they don't take care of themselves. They eat crap food. They don't get in movement. They don't do personal development. They don't have any dreams or goals. They are showing up constantly for a life that they are unhappy in because they don't believe that life can be different. But it can be different if you decide that you want different. And you have to decide it, and then you have to continue to work at it every single day. Your goals are not going to come to life in that first month. Your goals are going to come to life over time. But the coolest part is, who are you becoming in the process of deciding, I'm no longer average. I'm no longer doing what everyone else is doing. If everyone is doing something, that is your sign to run the opposite way and to create something different. Because when everyone is doing it, like even deciding to homeschool my kids, that was a whole thing, right? I got a ton of messages about, don't your kids want to be at school? And your kids are going to be weird. And why would I want to homeschool my kids? And so many people, but guess what? It was a lot of people that aren't homeschooling their kids. It's a lot of people that didn't go build a business to be home, right? And I want to be with my kids. I don't care about not being with my kids. I want to be with them. Does that mean that some days are hard in homeschool? 100%. Some days are, but I don't want the average life. I don't believe in the average life. I don't believe that there is even happiness in the average life, because what average got me in my life was it turned me into someone who was very unhappy. I was drinking all the time. I was not prioritizing sleep. I was staying out. I felt unhappy. I hated my body. I didn't have any confidence. I always felt I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't pretty enough. Do you ever feel that way when you look in the mirror? Are you constantly looking in the mirror and telling yourself that you're not good enough? You're just not pretty enough. You're just not smart enough. You just can't do anything else in life. But it's not that you can't. It's that you haven't started working on yourself to truly believe in who you are as a person. You weren't made to be average. And living the average life is going to be the thing that kills you, because you don't even want an average marriage. An average marriage is where you're happy sometimes. Wouldn't you love to be truly in love with your spouse every single day, to be prioritizing your marriage? Wouldn't you love to be the mom that you want to be and to create something different inside your home than what other parents might be creating with their kids? We know a lot of people that when their kids are in high school know nothing about what's happening. And I get it. That might work for them. But in our household, that doesn't work for us. We want to know what's going on. We want to be part of it. We want to be present. We want to know our kids. That is one of the best blessings I've ever had in life, is becoming a mom of four. And with the good and the bad, I don't want average kids. I want my kids to dream big and have purpose and make an impact. And the more money you make doesn't make you happier, but the more money you make does give you more freedom and more choices to go do things, to create more, to be more, to serve more, to make the community better and stronger. And that's like the best part of what we get to do. We get to bring out this version of ourselves that is so much better than we ever imagined. Ed Milet says when he gets to heaven, he doesn't want to get there and see a version of himself that he was and a version of himself that God had for him. He wants to be that version right now. And God isn't calling you to be average. He's not calling you to be average in your faith. He's not calling you to be average in your marriage. He's not calling you to be average in parenting or in your job. He is never calling you to be average. God has a purpose for your life and a plan for your life, and he believes in us. And when you don't believe in yourself, you have God to get your strength from. You are going to be in some of your weakest, hardest moments in motherhood and work and business and life when you're going after your goals. But God tells you he is always there. Through him, we can do all things. You don't have to feel your strongest. You don't have to feel your prettiest. You don't have to feel like you're capable. Through Christ, we can do all things. And when you start to remind yourself of that, it is going to slowly shut the self-doubt up of thinking that you need to live an average life. I don't want my kids to eat crap food all day long, regardless if that is what the rest of the world is doing. I have a son who I absolutely love. If he was in school, I'll be honest, I would probably be told he has ADHD because every kid right now has ADHD, right? But the reality is, do we ever stop and say half the things that they're putting into their body literally cause ADHD? The food dyes and all of the crap, the amount of sugar that is going into our kids' bodies. So, yeah, you know what? When people come to my house and I might not have all the extra food, because I'm not giving my kids the sugars with all the dyes in it, and I'm making a choice that's different. I don't really care. I want people to know that I'm not living the average life. And I hope that you want people to know you're not average. You're not going to be average in the way that you show up for yourself and for your family and for your faith and for your business and for your goals. You want to be different. You want to be up here, and you are not going to allow people to tell you you're different. And you are going to get the comments. You are going to get people that don't doubt or that don't believe in you and that make you question if you can do it and if you're good enough, but you are good enough because through Christ, you can do all things in business and faith, in life, in marriage. You can do all things through Christ. If you live an average life, it is going to be the thing that holds you back. And why is it that we tell our kids they can do anything? We want our kids to believe that, right? But as parents, we work at jobs that we hate, making money that is barely paying the bills, only getting 2 weeks off a year to travel. And yet we're telling our kids, when you get older, you can do anything you want. No, they need to see it from you. They need to see you lead the way and do something different. They need to see how you can be different than the rest of the world. Because if you're not different, it's not different. And I know for me, I want a stronger marriage. I want a stronger household. I want family dinners. I want healthy food inside our home. I want bodies that are strong. I want to push myself. I want my kids to push themselves. I don't want the freaking average life where you get to decide if you're a boy or girl, or you get to decide if you eat healthy or not. I don't want the average of what everyone is deciding. I want to be better. I want to be stronger. I want to fight for what I want. And I want to prove to myself that I am capable through Christ. And you get to decide that as well. You get to decide how you feel your body. You get to decide when you turn that TV off and when you go to bed at night and when that alarm goes off. Are you getting the sleep that your body actually needs so that you can be the best version of yourself? Are you deciding to open a book and read 10 pages instead of turning on the TV and watching whatever reality TV show is out there right now? The whole point of TV is to suck us in. And everything on it is honestly not adding any value to our life, right? Are you putting your kids in front of screen time every single day and that's your relationship with them? You get to decide to be different. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. We don't allow our kids to have iPads, and I don't really care that other parents all allow them to have iPads. I don't want my kids sitting in front of an iPad, and that is important to us. So decide what's important to you. Decide what is average and what's not average. And like I said, if you feel like everyone is putting their kids in front of iPads, then maybe that's your decision right there that, hey, I'm not average, so I'm not doing that. If you decide that no one has time to cook meals and grocery shop and just buy fast food every single day and don't do family dinner nights, I don't want that. Do you want that? Because if you do, that's okay. But you get to decide what is different. And if there's anything that I've realized over the years of building businesses, raising babies, and changing my entire life, it's that the average people are the people that judge you. The people that are successful don't judge you. They're going to cheer you on. They're going to give you advice. They're going to be excited for you. They're going to tell you that you can do it, and they're going to be really damn proud of you. But the average people around you are going to think you're weird. They're going to not understand what you're doing, but don't let that stop you. Show them, use it as fuel that you are going to be the healthiest, happiest version of you, that you are going to be stronger in your marriage, that you are going to be stronger in motherhood, that you are going to get through these hard days and good days and sad days and bad days, and you are going to freaking love motherhood because it goes by way too fast. You'll look back one day and you'll ask yourself if you actually enjoyed it or if you spent all your time being exhausted in it. The average mom is no longer nursing. The average mom is doing battles, right? Because we live in a world now that we want stuff instantly. And we live in a world that's making formulas for our babies and saying it's easier to do this and everyone can feed your baby. And if that works for you, awesome. But I cherish the moments of nursing because I love being a mom. I love that God made my body to nurse my babies. I love that it makes me slow down. And I get that not everyone has that opportunity because we have created a world where sadly moms have to work now. You don't get the choice to stay home with your babies a lot of times. I know some people do, but even with me, that wasn't a choice for my life. I couldn't just stay home. I had to build a business that brought in income for me to stay home with my kids. And so if you're a mom right now and you're like, man, I don't want to be doing battles. I want to be nursing, but I had to go back to work. Well, what are you doing in that extra spare time? Over the weekend, when you have Saturday and Sunday off of work, spend time with your family. But why don't you start building something that brings an extra income that brings you home to your babies? If that's what you want, you got to go after it hard. Because I can tell you, my biggest motivator was that when I built my business almost 10 years ago, was that I wanted to be home with my daughter. I never wanted my kids with sitters. I wanted to be home. I wanted to be present. And I went all in. Did people think I was weird? Yes. Did people judge me? Yes. Did people unfollow me? Heck yes. Did people make me feel like I was stupid or make a comment about what I posted? 100% yes. And guess what? A lot of those people are people that were closest to me. But I knew they weren't bringing me home to my daughter. I was bringing me home to my daughter. And I knew God put that in front of me for another time. I had said no the first time. And it was an opportunity of growth. It was an opportunity of getting bold. It was an opportunity of challenging myself. Am I going to give up on myself the second that someone self-doubts me and what I'm capable of? Or am I going to show them I am capable, I am strong, I can do all things through Christ, and I'm coming home to my kids? Start getting bold in the life you're living. No matter where you are at right now, your life can be drastically different in a year from now. You can decide that you are not average and tell yourself every single day, I'm not average. Instead of listening to music, I'm turning on podcasts. Instead of sitting in front of a TV, I'm reading books. Instead of sitting in front of the TV, I'm going and getting a half an hour workout in. Instead of lifting 10 pounds, I am pushing myself and lifting 15 pounds. Instead of not sitting down and having conversations with my kids, I'm putting down my cell phone and getting in conversation with them. Instead of just putting my kids in front of iPads, I am getting in conversation with them. We are playing games together. You decide the life that you live, and you're never getting this life back. So don't sit here and allow the life, if you are unhappy in, to be this average life. Decide that you want more. Decide that you want better. Decide that you want stronger. Decide that you are going to build it, and then stay consistent every single day. Keep those dreams at the front of it. Keep those goals at the front of it. Know why you want this life and why it's important to you. Because if you're not careful, your life will be average and you will miss out on so many amazing opportunities for what life truly can be. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that this message was not too bold for you, but I wanted to get honest and real because so often I'm looking around at in the world that we live in, and it's almost like if you're working on your fitness and your health and you want to feel your body, you are weird. Why is that? Why is that weird that you want to feel your body to feel good? Shouldn't we want people to feel good? Shouldn't we want people to drink less alcohol? Shouldn't we want people to play games more instead of sitting in front of a TV? Shouldn't we want our kids to prioritize sleep? Shouldn't we want better marriages and better family home life? Like, why is that weird when people want to freaking grow and become the strongest, best version of themselves? If this message right now is hitting home for you, I want you to share it to your stories so that we can empower more people to get bold, to stop accepting the average life that the government has created for us, where we are burnt out and unhappy. We have to want better for our kids, and we have to lead from the front, because no matter who is president, they are not impacting your home the way that you are impacting your home. If you do not prioritize your sleep, if you do not prioritize healthier food, if you do not get active in what you actually want to create, your kids won't either. We get to be the generational change. We get to lead our families different. And you get to decide if you are going to be average, if your family's going to be average, or if you're going to show your kids to freaking knock the doors off and dream so freaking big that it's scary. If you get to be the first millionaire in your family, if you get to be the first person to leave their job and come home to your kids and create the life you want, if you get to be the first person to start traveling the world, if you get to be the first person to be donating money to whatever organization it is and making impact inside your community that is saving lives and helping people, you get to decide that. No longer living average. This is the pact that we are making, that we are not average. We are not average together. We are getting bold in faith, life, and business. I hope you guys have an amazing week. And I always want to remind you that I see you. And I know that it is hard to think that you are worthy. It is hard to believe that life can be different when you are feeling the heavy weight of it. But if I was able to do it, you are 110% capable of changing every single thing about your life. And I know that because I was at my lowest point when I decided I can't do this anymore. And something you might have to ask yourself is, what if you just go after it? What if you decide that you're not going to live the average life anymore and you decide, I'm going to be different? And I don't care what anyone says. Where could you be in a year? Where could you be in 2 years? Your friends group might change, but you're going to get the better friendships. You're going to get people who challenge you. You're going to get people who don't need to sit in a circle and bitch about life. Sorry for my language. But it's the truth, right? You don't need people to sit and complain about their life. Like, no, I want to be in the circle of people that want to level up their life, that want to dream big, that want to eat healthy food, that want to freaking crush it and do big things in life and live differently and raise different kids. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I am so thankful that you are here, that you are growing, and you are taking action in your life. There is no better time to get bold and to know that you are worthy of so much more. And always remember, through Christ, you can do all things. If you have a minute and you are able to share this to your stories, tag a mom friend who might need to listen to this and have the encouragement. And if you have time, leave a review on Apple Podcasts so that they push this podcast out to more moms and we can make an impact together of not living an average life, but of getting bold in who we are becoming.